Buongiorno. Welcome back to the Nobody Asked for This podcast, or something like that. I believe this is episode number 87? No, I think that's giving me too much credit. Maybe 85. Let's say 85. A nice round 85. We're almost at an A. We're almost at an A of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. When we get to 86, maybe this is 86. Let me double check. I started these podcasts with the, episode number this, episode number that, and then somewhere around 60, I lost it. I retired at episode 65. I stopped saying what episode number it was, and then I think we got to 80, and I was like, full steam ahead. This is episode number, yes, I love being right. It happens so rarely. This is episode 85 of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. We are 15 away from 100. Now, I hesitate to reach 100 because I feel like there's nothing sadder than 101. Because it's like this big build-up, and then you get there, and it's like, well, I guess we keep going to 200. It's like, in some ways, I'd prefer it to be Tuesday, because then Friday's sad, because Friday, you're like way closer to Monday than you are on Tuesday. And I like the anticipation of it as opposed to the actual thing. Also, I've done some research recently, and by that I mean I've just really paid attention to myself the past maybe couple months, and I really think there needs to be, if not a 3-day weekend, like maybe like a 2.5-day weekend. Because here's the thing. I fear if we did a full 3-day weekend, like I think some countries that are just better than us, like I think there's like a Sweden and maybe some other European countries, they do the 4-day work week. And I think there are some companies that just decide, hey, we're doing 4 days, which, okay, totally fair. But like my fear with that would be once we get 3 days, we're going to be like, 3 days is not enough. We need 4 days. And then eventually we're working 0 days, which is obviously works for me, but obviously not how you like function as a society. So I feel like 2.5 days is where we can meet in the middle. Like maybe let's do like a half day on a Friday, which I think most people do anyway. But if we just really cement that as a fact, because listen, who's working after lunch on a Friday? Not many people. So it's like, let's just leave. Like, let's just go home and let's be honest about it. And then maybe we'll work harder the days in the rest of the week. That is the platform I'll be running on in 2024. Ooh, is there an election this year? Yikes. I'm going to be really honest. I don't fully, and I'm not proud of this, I don't fully understand how the, and not the presidency, because there's no president of Canada, the prime minister, I don't understand how the voting for that works, because I'm pretty sure you could be prime minister for like an unlimited amount of time. I don't think there's a limit. I'm going to Google that. This would be a good time for the Snapchat AI. Is there a term limit? A term limit for a Canadian prime minister. Let's see here. There's not a term limit. Okay. But I believe there is an election every 4 years, but I think it's gone off. I think we had like 2 within a couple years of each other. Like we had one during COVID, which basically the election could have been an email because everything stayed the same. But like I got my ass out there and voted in the thick of COVID. Well, maybe it wasn't the thick. I think it was like 2021. That sounds right. And then there was like one in 2019 as well. So, you got to do your civic duty. Is it your civic duty or your federal duty? Who knows? I actually think, I don't know what the process is or the qualifications are to become a mayor, but I feel like I could do that job for no other reason than I recently watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the mayor in that movie was terrible. Really bad. Like, deserves jail time. Like, I don't really know what. Like, for someone who is the mayor of a town that loves Christmas so much, like, he seemed a little grouchy. I also confuse him with the mayor I feel like I'm saying that word weird. The mayor of, what is that movie? Okay, well, I do this all the time. I play like, not Pictionary. I play charades with myself. I'm like trying to guess my own questions. What is that movie where it's like an underground town and they run on light bulbs, but like they're running out of light in the light bulbs? Or maybe it's a statement on climate change. What is that movie? And it's like a book that they forced me to read in elementary school, and I'm going to be honest, I probably didn't. I maybe watched the movie. What is that? I don't even know what to Google. Movie about city without light? I don't know. City without light. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it popped up. City of Ember. Came out in 2008. Has the perfect runtime of 1 hour, 30 minutes. Why can't we make all movies like that? Like, why? I'll get back to City of Ember in a second, but why is every movie 4 hours? I don't have 4 hours. And by I don't have 4 hours, I mean I do have 4 hours. Like, I could carve out the time, but I just don't feel like sitting there for 4 hours. Now, I'll watch a series that's 8 episodes of 1 hour each. That'll work for me. I'm totally fine with that. But I don't want to watch a 4 hour movie. I just don't. And I feel like they need to stop expecting us to do that. The only reason I think there should be longer movies is because it costs about $50 to go to the movies. So, like, you might as well get your money's worth. But other than that, like, if it's a home streaming situation, like 2 hours max, like absolute max. If it's under an hour 45, it can be a bad movie. If it's over an hour 45, like, that extra 15 minutes better be necessary. I better not be able to go through, your screenplay and with a red pen and say, let's take this part out, let's take this part out. If it's a 2 hour movie, I want every minute accounted for, and I need you to explain to me in, like, the DVD bonus extras. Remember how DVDs, it would come with, like, obviously the movie, hopefully, if you're lucky, if it wasn't like a bootleg. And then you would get, like, the bonus features, and, like, Shrek 2, they did the American Idol. Like, it's like a Shrek Idol situation, and then sometimes you would get, like, the people that made the movie talking about the movie. Stuff like that. They need to bring that back in a 2024 version of them explaining why their movie was so long. Now, I understand the flaw in that thing is, like, now this is more content I have to watch, but if it can make me feel better about the fact that I just wasted 3 hours on your stupid movie, I might be interested. Speaking of screenplay, I don't think I talked about this before, but about a month ago, it was after Christmas, before New Year's, that week of nothingness, I wanted to watch Oppenheimer. I think that's what it's called. And I went on Amazon, and it was like, or so I thought. Now, I guess I should have went to, like, Netflix or something, but I didn't think it was on Netflix because I don't think it is on Netflix. So I guess that was a good thing to not go. But I guess I checked on Amazon to see if I could buy it. And it was like, it said like $12 or something. And I was like, you know what? $12 plus, like, the 50 cents I've spent on, microwave popcorn, like, that's less than $13, which is less than a movie ticket. Like, let's just go for it. So I click buy, thinking, like, I'll just have to watch it on Amazon. Now, mind you, I've never bought a movie on Amazon before. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can. Like, I assumed it was like iTunes. Now, why I didn't just go to iTunes, I don't know. But for whatever reason, I was like $12. Oh, no, I do know. I saw it was $12 on Amazon, and I went to iTunes, and it was like $25 or something to rent it. $25 to not even own something, to just watch something on my phone that I guess Apple is going to take back and, like, combust the file of. I don't know. I mean, I love being a patron of the arts, but $25 is a little much. It's like, I don't charge people $25 to listen to this. Mostly because they wouldn't pay, but it's like, come on, give the people what they want, It's tough times out here. But anyway, so I go to iTunes and I click the pay for $12, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I've cheated the system. A penny saved is a penny earned, or whatever, backwards thing. And then I try and watch the movie, and I'm like, wait, again, like I said, I've never watched a movie on Amazon that I've bought. So I'm like in the Amazon Prime app, like looking to see if it's downloaded. I can't find it. Now, mind you, this was at about 10:30 at night, and my bedtime is about 10:30 at night on a good day. So I kind of just fall asleep. Now, I don't really understand why I decided to, in my own head, watch a 3-hour movie at 10:30, because it goes against everything I believe in. But I guess I thought for a second I would be able... I was not under the influence of anything. I had a hot chocolate earlier that day, I believe it was a after 8 flavored hot chocolate, so maybe that messed with some sort of brain waves. I don't know, we can look into like a scientific database and see if there's any studies based on that. I'm not sure. But I, for some reason, was going to watch a 3-hour movie at 10:30 p.m., which is the same time as my bedtime. I don't know. Maybe I thought I lived on the East Coast and was going to time jump 3 hours. Not quite sure. But anyway, I'm telling this story very out of order, and there's been about 4 times since I started telling it that I've contemplated like going back and just starting again from scratch. But that's just not how I roll here. Except that time a couple weeks ago when I had recorded like half of an episode and decided it was bad. Other than that time, listen, we all make mistakes. Other than that time, we're going straight through. But I couldn't find the movie. I don't know, like, did I have to download like a separate app? Is it not in the Prime app? Like, is there a way to buy it from the Amazon? I'm checking on my computer. I can't find it. And eventually I realized I've put more than $12 worth of effort into, trying to watch this movie that I don't think I care $12 more to like buy and like try and buy again. So I surrender to the fact that like I got. I should have just spent the $25 on iTunes. So I just go to bed that night thinking, Jeff Bezos got me again. He does it every time. Amazon 1, me 0. And I accept it. And I honestly woke up the next day and forgot about it. It was not something I cared to relive. I had intended to like go into my Amazon orders and try and get a refund of my $12 because I did not watch Oppenheimer, and that's what I paid to watch. I still haven't seen it. I don't even think I could tell you what it's about, to be honest. It's just like was a movie that people liked and I was bored. Which, never again. Never again. I'm sticking to 90 Day Fiancé. I'm sticking to the Sister Wives. I'm not venturing out of what I'm comfortable watching, what I know is watching. Basically, if it's not on TLC, I'm out. I learned it the hard way, but like I know where my home is, and that's on cable, Channel 44 or whatever TLC is. Which, can I just say, those episodes are getting a bit long. If we could narrow it down, if any of the producers of 90 Day Fiancé are listening, I think a 1-hour episode, perfect. We don't have to do 2 hours. I don't need to see 7 questionable couples on my TV. I think maybe 3 or 4 is perfect. I only have so much time to invest into these strangers that think like, no, I'm really, my relationship is the exception. They've done 48 seasons of 90 Day Fiancé, hundreds of couples most of whom have broken up, but I am the exception. I'm not getting catfished. I so respect that mindset. It's aspirational. I'm sure a lot of people watch 90 Day Fiancé and just to feel better about themselves, maybe feel better about their relationship. I watch it and look to those people that are like, no, this is going to work. Like, yeah, has he shown me his face on FaceTime? No. When I Googled her picture, or when I did a reverse image search on Google of, the picture she sent me, did I find 14 other people with the same face? Yeah. But no, it's going to work. And I respect that. For anyone who doesn't know really quickly, 90 Day Fiancé, it's about a couple couples who live in different countries, and then one of them comes to America and they have 90 days to get married, or else they're applying for a certain type of visa that you can only be in the country for 90 days. And then if you don't get married, the person has to go back. I think a few times it's worked. I think most of the time, not exactly, but everyone has their own journey. Back to my journey with Oppenheimer. A week later, after this happened, I get a package, and I'm like, I didn't order anything. But alas, I had ordered something. Now, when I took it out, I saw that it was like the cover, and it was the Oppenheimer cover, and I was like, oh my gosh, LOL, I accidentally bought the DVD. And I was like, man, $12, and I hadn't fully like taken it out of the bag. I just saw the cover. So I was laughing. I was like, I'm such a grandpa. Like, I accidentally bought a DVD when I meant to buy like the digital version. Ha ha ha. No harm, no foul. I have a DVD player. I can hook this up to my TV thing. Not TV thing, my TV. Maybe even put it in my laptop. And I can watch this movie, and it's all great. $12, easy. And then I take it out of the package, or like out of the box thing. And I realized I didn't buy the DVD. I definitely didn't buy the digital movie. I somehow bought the script. I bought a book. I bought an Oppenheimer book. Not the book that the movie's based on. I bought a book of the words that the actors say. I bought the screenplay of Oppenheimer. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know you could just they just released the script of these books. I don't know if this is like some sort of collector's edition. I don't know if in 50 years, when I'm on episode 850,000 of the Nobody Asked This podcast and have still made no money off of it, I don't know if I'm going to have to sell the Oppenheimer script to retire off of. At first, there was a split second where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so famous. They've sent me like a PR, do you know when the influencers, they get like boxes with like, not confetti, but it's like sprinkles? No, what is that called? Not confetti. It's like the crap that you, like the Easter Bunny puts in your basket. What is that? It's not streamers. Ugh. Not feathers. It's like I can't think of the word. Anyway, you know what I mean, like the crinkle stuff. I'm going to say confetti just for the sake of it. With the confetti in the box, and they get like the product. I thought that's what I was getting for a split second. I was like, I am so famous. Whoever made the movie heard that I was on episode 84 at the time, now 85. Actually, at the time it was probably 80, so I probably thought it was like an 80th. Is it an anniversary if it hasn't been years? I don't know. I thought it was like a present for being a podcaster, but no, I had accidentally ordered the book of Oppenheimer. So I'm definitely going to read it. I know I talked about my Goodreads goal at the end of last year, so 3 episodes ago. So hopefully that counts. I'm going to need it too. Anyway, I have a pretty it's an upsetting update. My phone has now reached the lifespan of phone wherein you need to charge it twice a day. Like, it'll be lunchtime and my phone will be at 20%. And I just, I don't think that's going to work for me anymore. I really try. I'll stand by a phone. I have long-term phone relationships. I had my first phone for 2 years. Well, okay, that's not that much, but I had my first one for 2 years. I had my phone after that for 4 years. My phone after that for 2. And then I've had this phone for 3. And this is all very important information that you all want to know. Now, I actually am happy to report that I'm still friends with and in good standing with my third phone. So the phone before this. In fact, that phone is standing right next to me. And I kind of had to crawl back to this phone with my tail between my legs when I dropped the phone that I use now and got the green line. If you've listened to the Nobody Asked for This podcast, which is not many people. Okay, which, P.S., not many people, but, there's people now. A few, 1 or 2, maybe, which I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for your listens. If anyone is actually listening to this, I'm still not fully. I think it might be my computer or, whatever spirit had overtaken my being when I accidentally ordered the Oppenheimer screenplay is, watching my own podcast or listening to my own podcast, and then the numbers are going up and I think I'm something. I don't know. Open to all possibilities. But I've talked about the green line. I dropped my phone probably in October, and there's a glaring green line down the side. that I haven't fixed yet, but it's on the list, okay? It's on the list for Q1 2024. But if I ever need to read something or like actually like write like a work email that is longer than a word, or essentially long enough to get to the full other edge of the screen, I will go on my old phone. Now, why I don't just put my SIM card into the old phone, I don't know. It feels wrong to like, I'm not about working backwards. I like moving forwards, but you never know. All that to say, my battery is the next thing that's going. So I might just have to not kick the bucket. What is that called? Throw in the towel. Just like 3 out of the 4 sister wives, and just move on to bigger and better. The only thing that stops me from getting another phone is I feel like they're kind of all the same phone. Like, no offense, Apple, but like, you've kind of lost me. I used to be able to tell, like, I could look at a phone and say, like, that's an iPhone 6, that's iPhone 5. Like, there was a difference between the two. I feel like they're just doing, like, minor tweaks or, like, adding one more stove to the stovetop. Do you know how the back of the phones now, I have a phone that's old enough that I don't have this, but do you know how the cameras look like stovetops? Stovetop stuffing. It makes me hungry every time I see one. I think they just keep adding circles, and I don't know that those circles are doing anything. I have a theory that those circles are doing nothing, and that is the name of the episode. But seriously, like, there's no way that those circles are all, like, they're just standing there, not really standing, they're just lying there being circles, which I respect. Like, we can't always be, like, at 100%, especially at work. But they're bamboozling us, Apple, and I know it. They for sure know it, and I feel like they know that we know it, but it's almost like they just want to see, like, how far they can push it. Because let me tell you this, I'm onto them. I know Apple has us all, right where they want us, but I will still, like, my next phone will 100% be an iPhone. Like, I'll buy another iPhone, but it's like, I'm onto you. It's like when I bought the Oppenheimer script, except I didn't do it on purpose. Same exact thing. Apple 1, Amazon 1, me 0 in both scenarios. Like, I could use a win one of these days. Also, if anyone from Apple is listening to this and is going to put me on like a list, like some sort of like a watched list, not that, anyone is listening to this in general, let alone people at Apple, but just in case you are listening, I actually do have a couple recommendations. Could you make the camera like worse? I feel like they're obsessed with like making the camera clearer and better. People don't want that. We don't want to look clear. We want to look just a little bit blurry. So I actually think for your next trick, you need to start taking off the circles. Less circles, please. Blurry. We want blurry. We want like an illusion. And again, I'll just speak for myself. I don't need to see like every single pore on every single picture. Now, I don't really take pictures. I'm not like a picture person. In fact, if I take a picture, my thumb will be in it. And I can make jokes about it. I can try and be as aware of it as possible. But when I go to take a picture, my thumb is in it. It's almost like you know how in horror movies, like, they'll take a picture and then they'll look at the picture and the person taking the picture didn't see the ghost, but the ghost is somehow in the picture? I think my thumb is a ghost. That would also be a really good title for the episode. Also, I need to take a course in learning how to do like title case. Now I do have a degree, an English degree. That doesn't mean much. I'll tell you that. It sounds, I can't even say that it sounds impressive, but like, it sounds like, oh, okay, you must know how to write. Not at all. Like, not at all. I'm a decent writer. I can't spell. Like, if me knowing how to spell a basic word was the difference between society thriving and total societal collapse, like, it might be the latter. And I would try my hardest, obviously, in that scenario where the aliens come down and say, spell the word microwave. Like, I might get that wrong. I actually was in a spelling bee one time, and I got out on the first word and felt nothing. They're kind of brutal in spelling bees. Like, you have to get, not only do you have to get it right, but you can't be like, okay, spell cube. Like, you have to do it in the exact order. You have to say cube, C-U-B-E, cube. I believe that is correct. But if you just said, C-U-B-E, I think you can, like, technically get out because you didn't say the word at the beginning. And then if you say cube, C-U-U, like, if you forgot that you said it and you repeated yourself, they take that as you said C-U-U. Or if you say, like, oh, wait, never mind, can I start again? Like, there's no starting again in the spelling bee. You need to get it completely right as you said it. It's like a telegram. Like, why is that? That's not necessary. Like, we're not typewriters. Like, just be like, oops. Like, oops does not apply in a spelling bee. I can't remember what word I got in the spelling bee, but it was like, I think I added a U where there didn't need to be one. Whereas I usually add a me where there doesn't need to be one. So it was a real switcheroo. I really want ice cream. I just had to say that. This feels like a very long episode. I feel like I've been talking for 87 years. But apparently it's only been 27 minutes. So there's that. I've been really trying to live like it is December. Because as I've stated in previous episodes, I hate January, February, and March. And I'm trying to reframe that for myself. I don't want to hate, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I'm pretending that it's December. And luckily, or not so luckily, the weather has agreed with me. So it's been like literally negative 12, 13, 14 for like a week. It's finally let up now, but like we were in the trenches. I might have talked about that last week, but I apologize to anyone that was freezing. I think it was my fault. I think because I said it is December when it was actually January, I think the weather said, okay, you want December? We'll give you December. And that's what we got. And it was like colder than any December that had come before it, at least in my memory. So I will take responsibility for that. What I cannot and will not take responsibility is the fact that it feels like January 57th. Like, how long is January? This is absolutely ridiculous. This is almost as long as when March of 2020 went on for 4 months. And then an additional 2 years. Like, what is happening? How is this? Like, October, November, December flies by. At least November. Without a doubt, November will fly by. I feel like we've lived four Novembers since January started. I think back to things that happened January 1st and January 2nd, and that feels like a year ago. And I've talked to other people, and they agree. So it's like, clearly something's happening. I think this is the year that the aliens come down. I really do. 2024. I'm telling you, it's happening. And I almost feel like the aliens did come down, and like people wouldn't care. Like, I think enough craziness has happened over the past few years that, like, of course the aliens would come down. Like, I think the aliens would land, and people either A, wouldn't believe them. Like, the people, like, everyone would be on some sort of, like, conspiracy theory. Either the conspiracy theorists that have thought that there were aliens would be like, see, we're right. Or people would be like, this is a conspiracy theory. Like, there's actually not, LOL, there's actually not aliens. Like, this is, like, the government doing something for something, you know? I haven't fully fleshed out my whole, conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory. But I feel like it wouldn't be, like, the reaction that people thought. People would either be like, duh, there's aliens, we know, and not care. Or think that they were fake. In which case, if the government is listening to this, if my friends at Apple who listen could pass this along to their friends at the government, I would like to play, if you are hiring for fake aliens, I would like to submit an audition tape. Basically, you can listen to all 85 episodes of the Nobody Asked for This podcast and realize that I am fully qualified to like speak nonsense. I feel like that's what aliens might do, you know. I'll take I'll take an acting class for you. I'll take alien like movement classes. I'll do you know, I can send over my measurements if we need to be fitted for some sort of alien attire. Like, I'm in. If you are hiring fake aliens, I'm going to be pissed if I'm not one of them. Pissed. How did I get a voicemail? I just got a notification that I had a voicemail when I never got a phone call. How does that happen? Like, how did I miss this call? I would not have answered the call. Oh my gosh, maybe it was the government offering me a part. Crap. That was my moment. Okay, I gotta go listen to this voicemail. The future depends on it. But I hope everyone has a great weekend. I hope you have a great week if you happen to be listening to this on a Monday. If you happen to be listening to this on a Tuesday, I hope you have a great Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Any of the days, I hope you're doing well. If you want to hear more of this, you can go to podcastnobodyaskwithus.podbean.com. I think. We're also available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. Maybe I can earn my $12 back. I don't know. But yeah, and you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, which isn't X or whatever it's called now, Facebook. There's honestly, I'm going to be like fully honest with you, there's like really nothing on there, but you can follow or not, or listen on the YouTubes, where I'm pretty much going viral. But I want to thank you all for listening. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, well, you'll hear me next week. Oh, please, hopefully. I don't know, maybe? It's not like, okay, listen, even if this is not great, like, it's definitely not the worst thing you've ever heard. So like the very least you could do is just like kind of put it on in the background and like maybe fall asleep. I fell asleep like I did after ordering the Oppenheimer DVD or whatever, the screenplay. Maybe I'll read that and let you know what I think next week. Okay, bye.